The desert had surrendered the heat of the day long before you arrived. Now the Giza plateau rested beneath a sky so clear, so immeasurably deep, that it seemed less like the roof of the world and more like an endless ocean suspended above the earth. Every star shone with quiet certainty. Every constellation appeared suspended in perfect balance. Between the heavens and the silent limestone, there was almost no boundary at all. You settled into the cool sand without speaking. The grains shifted softly beneath your weight before becoming still once more, accepting your presence without resistance. A gentle breeze wandered across the plateau, carrying only the faint scent of dry stone, ancient dust, and the endless desert stretching beyond every horizon. It was a fragrance untouched by forests or rivers, shaped only by wind and time. It moved slowly across your face before disappearing again into the darkness. Ahead of you rose the Great Pyramid, even in the quiet embrace of night. Its immense form dominated the landscape with effortless authority. It did not seem built. It seemed inevitable, as though the earth itself had slowly lifted one perfect mountain from its own foundation. Its immense sides climbed toward the stars with unwavering confidence, each edge cutting through darkness with astonishing simplicity. Long ago, nearly every visible surface had been covered with polished white limestone casing stones. Under moonlight, they would have reflected the silver glow of the heavens until the monument appeared almost luminous, like frozen light rising from the desert floor. Travelers from distant kingdoms describe seeing it gleam from many miles away, shining beneath both sunlight and moonlight, with an almost supernatural brilliance. Tonight, only fragments of that brilliant outer skin remain, yet imagination easily completes what centuries have removed. The silver light of the stars glides across invisible surfaces. Smooth limestone returns for a moment in the quiet theater of the mind. The pyramid regains its ancient perfection. The edges sharpen. The faces brighten. The monument stands once again as it may have appeared when it was newly completed, flawless beneath the endless sky. The night accepts this vision without question. There is no hurry here. There has never been any hurry here. Thousands of years pass differently in places like this. The wind slows. Your breathing slows. Even thought begins to slow. The enormous pyramid waits without impatience. Its silence is older than memory. Its stillness feels complete. You notice how effortlessly your attention drifts upward. Above the summit, countless stars continue their endless journey across the heavens. Most appear fixed, yet through the passing hours, they slowly wheel around an invisible point, night after night, year after year, century after century. The ancient builders knew these stars intimately. They watched them with extraordinary patience. Long before telescopes, before clocks, before modern instruments measured the heavens with electronics and computers, Egyptian astronomers stood beneath skies very much like this one. They observed the slow turning of the circumpolar stars, the stars that never disappeared. Beneath the horizon, these eternal lights circled endlessly around the northern sky, faithful companions through every season, Their movement revealed something remarkable. Without ever seeing the modern idea of true north written on a map, these observers discovered it written across the heavens themselves. Patiently, carefully, over countless nights, they watched pairs of stars crossing invisible paths. They measured their positions with simple tools and extraordinary discipline. Again and again, they repeated their observations until uncertainty gradually dissolved into confidence. Somehow, through methods that still inspire admiration today, they aligned the Great Pyramid astonishingly close to true north. Not merely approximately, not merely well enough, but with an accuracy measured today as only a tiny fraction of a single degree from perfect alignment. Standing beneath this sky, that achievement feels almost impossible. Yet, the evidence remains. The pyramid still points toward the cardinal. Directions with breathtaking precision: north, south, east, west. Stone answering to stars, earth answering to heaven. The quiet relationship continues long after the builders themselves have vanished. The stars continue their slow circles. The pyramid continues its silent vigil. Neither interrupts the other. Neither competes. They simply exist together, night after night, across millennia. The breeze returns. It brushes lightly across the sand, creating delicate ripples that disappear almost as quickly as they form. You watch them emerge and fade, emerge and fade, like breathing itself. Your own breathing becomes just as gentle. Slow in, slow out. The immense monument seems to encourage this quieter rhythm. Its presence asks for nothing except stillness, nothing except patience, nothing except time. Perhaps that is why sleep feels so natural beneath ancient stone. Everything here moves slowly, enough for the mind to loosen its careful grip upon the day. Everything becomes quieter. Everything becomes softer. Everything becomes heavier. You think about the foundation hidden beneath the enormous structure. Most visitors admire only what rises above the ground, but the true beginning lies below. Before millions of limestone blocks could ever be placed, before ramps, before workers, before ceremonies, before the pyramid itself, there had to be certainty beneath every future stone. The builders prepared the bedrock with astonishing care. Across an area covering roughly 13 acres, they transformed uneven natural rock into an almost perfectly level platform. Modern surveys reveal differences measured at little more than about a single inch. Across that immense foundation, an inch, across 13 acres, the mind quietly lingers upon the contrast. So vast, so precise, so enormous, so delicate, the same civilization capable of moving stones, weighing several tons, also cared about differences almost too small for the eye to notice. Immense weight resting upon microscopic accuracy, gigantic mass depending upon subtle perfection. The pyramid teaches that greatness often begins with what cannot easily be seen. The perfectly leveled foundation rested beneath the Great Pyramid. with quiet certainty hidden from every passing, eye yet carrying everything above it with effortless patience. Across 13 acres of carefully prepared bedrock, differing by little more than a single inch from one side to the other, the earth had been persuaded into remarkable balance. Upon that silent certainty, another story begins to unfold. It is not a story of haste, nor of conquest, nor of noise. It is a story of weight, a story of stone, a story of time, moving so gently that every passing moment becomes almost indistinguishable from stillness itself. The Great Pyramid is not one single monument, but millions of separate stones resting together in perfect agreement. Each one was once part of another landscape. Each one waited beneath sunlight and moonlight for ages beyond imagination. Each one carried the quiet memory of mountains before becoming part of humanity's greatest expression of patience. Most of the limestone blocks weighed around 2.5 tons. 2.5 tons. The number settles softly into your thoughts. Heavy, steady, certain, not frightening, simply reassuring. Heavy enough to remain exactly where it is placed. Heavy enough to welcome thousands of years without complaint. Heavy enough to become part of eternity. There were not hundreds of these stones. There were not thousands. There were millions, one resting beside another, one supporting another, one trusting another, each block becoming part of something so vast that no single person could ever fully embrace it with a single glance. Imagine only one limestone block resting quietly beneath the cool breath of the Egyptian night. Its surface is rough, beneath gentle fingertips. Tiny crystals catch the silver light of the stars before fading once more into shadow. Ancient shells, preserved within the stone from seas that vanished millions upon millions of years ago, sleep silently inside its pale body, long before pharaohs, long before cities, long before written history. This stone had already witnessed worlds beyond memory. Now it waits for another purpose. The breeze drifts gently across the plateau. It carries nothing hurried, only the faint fragrance of dry sand, only the quiet scent of warm limestone slowly releasing the last memory of daylight into the coolness of night. Only silence. Far to the south, another patient companion continues its endless journey. The Nile. Even beneath darkness, the river never forgets its direction. It flows calmly, without urgency, without hesitation, without exhaustion. Season after season, generation after generation. Its waters understand that great journeys are completed not through speed, but through constancy. Long ago, beneath these same stars, heavy wooden barges floated quietly upon its dark surface. No engines disturbed the air. No sudden commands echoed across the water. No frantic rhythm broke the stillness. Only wood, only rope, only river, only stars. The barges rested deeply within the water beneath their extraordinary cargo. Massive limestone blocks lay upon thick timber decks, each one perfectly still, while the river itself carried the burden forward. Gentle waves touched the wooden hulls with soft and steady rhythm. Water lapped quietly against weathered planks. The timbers answered with slow, comforting creaks. The current whispered beneath everything, never raising its voice, never demanding attention. The sound became almost like breathing. In, out, in, out. The river breathed. The barges breathed. The night itself seemed to breathe. The stars reflected upon the dark water like scattered silver lanterns. Every ripple gently stretched, their reflections before allowing them to gather once again. Nothing remained fixed except the slow certainty that the journey continued. The breeze filled woven sails whenever it wished. When it rested, patient hands guided the barges with long oars and sturdy poles. No one hurried the river. No one hurried the stone. The Nile decided the rhythm. Everyone simply followed. Stone, water, sky. Stone, water, sky. Again, again, again. The steady repetition became a heartbeat. Not loud, not fast, simply endless. Far beyond the limestone quarries lay another treasure, sleeping within the earth. Granite, darker than limestone, harder than limestone, older than almost anything the eye could imagine. Its reddish surface carried tiny crystals that shimmered softly beneath moonlight. Running your hand across it would feel entirely different, cooler, denser, almost impossibly solid, as though countless centuries had compressed themselves into every inch. These immense granite blocks came from Aswan, more than 500 miles south of Giza. 500 miles. The distance feels almost dreamlike. 500 miles of flowing water. 500 miles of patient navigation. 500 miles beneath changing constellations. 500 miles, completed one gentle current at a time. Among these remarkable stones were the colossal granite beams destined for the King's Chamber. Some weighed nearly 80 tons. 80 tons. The number arrives quietly. There is no need for astonishment, only quiet wonder. Weight beyond ordinary imagination. Weight that asks for patience instead of force. Weight that rewards careful thought more than hurried effort. Imagine one of those immense granite beams resting upon a broad wooden barge. The vessel settles steeply into the river. Heavy ropes stretch calmly across polished timber. Strong wooden beams distribute the tremendous burden. The river accepts everything without complaint. Water has always known how to carry extraordinary weight. It supports mountains, reflected upon its surface. It supports ships. It supports stone. It supports dreams. The current embraces the granite. The granite trusts the current. Neither resists the other. Together, they continue northward beneath the stars. Night after peaceful night, the crew speaks quietly. Sandals touch old wooden planks with gentle footsteps. A rope tightens. Another loosens. An oar slips silently into the dark water. before rising again, covered with shimmering droplets that briefly catch starlight. Everything moves slowly. Everything moves together. Everything belongs to the same patient rhythm. Perhaps the river itself understood where these stones were meant to rest. Perhaps every bend carried them a little closer to their eternal home. The quiet rhythm of the Nile slowly fades behind you, not because it has ceased to flow, but because another kind of silence is beginning to gather. The stars remain above the Great Pyramid, turning patiently across the northern sky, exactly as they have for thousands upon thousands of nights. The cool desert breeze still brushes across the limestone blocks outside. The vast plateau still stretches beneath the heavens. Yet now, almost without noticing, your attention begins to move elsewhere. It turns inward. The immense monument that has rested so peacefully beneath the stars begins to reveal another landscape, a hidden landscape, a landscape carved not across the open desert, but through the heart of solid stone itself. The entrance appears almost modest compared to the enormous mountain of limestone surrounding it. It does not demand attention. It simply waits, quietly, patiently, as it always has. You imagine taking one slow step forward, then another. The warm desert air remains behind you. The open sky remains behind you. The endless horizon remains behind you. Each step carries you gently from the wide world into a place where the outside slowly dissolves, where sound becomes softer, where light becomes gentler, where every thought begins to settle, like fine grains of sand resting after the wind has finally grown still. The passage is cool, not cold, simply cool. The air is remarkably dry, preserved by stone that has rested here for more than 4,000 years. Every breath feels calm. Every breath feels clean. The scent is almost impossible to describe. It is the scent of ancient limestone, untouched by rain. The scent of dust that has slipped undisturbed through countless generations. The scent of quiet itself. Your footsteps become softer. Each movement is absorbed by the walls. The pyramid does not echo in the way a cathedral echoes. Instead, it gently receives every sound. It allows each tiny noise to exist for only a moment before wrapping it in silence once more. Outside, the desert wind continues its slow journey across the plateau. Inside, the wind does not exist. No breeze reaches these passages. No shifting sand enters these corridors. No distant voices drift through the stone. The outside world has become wonderfully distant. You continue forward without hurry. The ceiling rests close above. The walls beside you feel immeasurably thick. Millions upon millions of tons of carefully placed limestone surround every side. Yet nothing feels oppressive. Quite the opposite. The immense weight feels protective. The stone is not pressing inward. It is holding everything else away. The desert remains outside. The centuries remain outside. The changing seasons remain outside. Within these walls, there is only calm, only stillness, only gentle permanence. The deeper you travel, the quieter everything becomes. The silence begins to change. At first, it is simply the absence of noise. Then it becomes something more. It becomes a presence, a soft, velvety silence, a silence with texture, a silence that wraps itself gently around every thought until those thoughts begin to slow, becoming farther apart, softer, lighter, just as stars appear farther apart when the night grows deeper. You notice your breathing. It is slower now. The cool air enters. The cool air leaves. Nothing interrupts its peaceful rhythm. The stone seems almost to breathe with you, not through movement. Stone does not move, but through its perfect steadiness, its complete refusal to hurry, its endless patience. You climb gradually upward through the ascending passage. The incline is gentle, measured, purposeful. Every step feels secure beneath your feet. The limestone beneath you has supported countless, careful footsteps across generations of explorers, scholars, guardians, and dreamers. Yet, even after so much time, it remains unchanged, solid, certain, faithful. There is comfort in such permanence. Outside, civilizations have risen and disappeared. Languages have changed. Kingdoms have become memories. Empires have turned into stories whispered across history. Yet here, inside the pyramid, the stone remains exactly as it has always been. It remembers every century without carrying their burden. It simply remains. The passage opens, gradually, almost imperceptibly. Before you rises one of the most extraordinary spaces ever created by ancient hands. The Grand Gallery. Its walls climb upward with astonishing confidence. Course after course of carefully cut stone steps inward as they rise, forming the remarkable corbelled architecture that has endured for more than 4 millennia. The ceiling seems to lift effortlessly toward darkness above, inviting the eyes upward, even as the body remains calm below. The proportions inspire quiet wonder, not excitement, not astonishment. Wonder softened by silence. Everything here feels balanced. Every stone rests exactly where it belongs. Every angle serves a purpose. Every surface reflects the patient intelligence of minds that understood not only mathematics and engineering, but also harmony. The gallery feels almost like a bridge between earth and sky. Below, solid stone. Above, ascending space. Around you, perfect geometry. You stand quietly for a while. There is no need to continue immediately. Places like this ask nothing except presence. The walls rise silently on either side, guiding the eye upward through long, elegant lines. Their immense weight somehow creates not confinement, but openness. The higher the gallery climbs, the lighter the mind seems to become. Your breathing slows once more. The rhythm settles deeper. In, out, in, out. The silence becomes even softer. Every breath seems wrapped in warmth. Although no sunlight reaches this place, it does not feel empty. It feels sheltered, protected. held, like resting beneath a great stone blanket that carries the weight of mountains, without allowing even the smallest worry to pass through. You continue upward, slowly, patiently. The grand gallery remains behind you. Ahead lies another quiet threshold. Beyond it rests the chamber that has occupied imaginations for centuries. The king's chamber. You enter without ceremony. No dramatic revelation waits here. No sudden brightness. No hidden treasure glittering beneath torchlight. Instead, there is something infinitely quieter. A room. Simple, perfect, complete. The walls are unlike those below. No pale limestone surrounds you now. Every surface has become deep red granite, brought from distant Aswan. The stone seems almost alive beneath the faintest suggestion of light. Tiny crystals hidden within its surface catch what little illumination exists before allowing it to disappear once more into rich, gentle darkness. Each block is immense. Each weighs many tons. Yet together they create a room of remarkable calm. The granite feels warmer than the limestone passages. Not warm because of fire. Not warm because of sunlight. Warm because the stone has held the earth's quiet embrace for thousands of years. Its temperature hardly changes. Its presence hardly changes. It simply remains. The chamber is entirely enclosed. No windows open toward the desert. No breeze wanders inside. No drifting sand crosses the floor. The outer world cannot enter. The walls stand between this room and everything beyond them with perfect confidence. Millions of tons rest above. Yet, no strain appears. No crack, no complaint. The enormous granite beams overhead quietly carry the unimaginable. Wait exactly as they were intended to do. Century after century, millennium after millennium. The room rests beneath their patient protection. Here, time begins to lose its familiar shape. Outside, dawn follows night. Summer follows winter. Empires rise. Empires fall. Children grow into elders. Rivers flood. Stars slowly shift through ages. But inside this chamber, change seems to pause. The air itself feels preserved, still, dry, calm, as though every passing century has entered the room, only to become perfectly quiet. You listen. There is almost nothing to hear. Not the wind, not birds, not distant voices, not flowing water, only the gentle rhythm of your own breathing. Even that begins to soften. The granite seems to absorb every unnecessary sound, not swallowing it, not erasing it, simply allowing it to rest. Silence here is not emptiness. Silence here is comfort. The quiet heart of the king's chamber continues to hold its timeless silence. And, for a little while longer, there is no reason to leave it. The granite walls remain exactly as they have remained through thousands upon thousands of nights. They ask for nothing. They promise nothing. They simply exist, wrapped in stillness, so complete that even time itself seems to rest here without taking another step. You remain where you are. Your breathing is slow. Your thoughts are slower still. Every breath arrives gently. Every breath departs gently. The chamber accepts each one without echo, without interruption, without the slightest disturbance. Outside, the stars continue their patient turning. Inside, nothing moves. Nothing needs to move. The immense granite, beams above, continue carrying millions of pounds of stone exactly as they have carried them since the first years of the Old Kingdom. They never hurry. They never tire. They simply remain, quietly fulfilling the purpose entrusted to them by hands that disappeared into history long ago. There is profound comfort in such certainty. There is profound peace in such permanence. The silence has become so familiar now that it no longer feels like the absence of sound. It feels like a gentle presence. It surrounds every thought. It softens every memory. It smooths every remaining edge of wakefulness until even the smallest concern dissolves into quietness. You begin to notice that there is no need to stay hidden forever. The sanctuary has already shared its lesson. The deepest stillness is not confined within walls. It can travel with you. It can settle within you. Very slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin the return. Not because anything is ending, only because every peaceful journey eventually circles back toward the open sky. The granite chamber remains behind you, yet somehow it also remains within you. Its silence has become your silence. Its steadiness has become your steadiness. Its calm has become your calm. You move gently through the familiar passage. Every stone greets you as an old companion. The air remains cool, wonderfully dry, wonderfully still. Your footsteps are softer now than before. Or perhaps it is simply that your mind has become quieter, allowing every movement to fade almost before it begins. The walls continue holding back the immense weight above with effortless confidence. Millions of limestone blocks rest together in perfect agreement. Not one demands attention. Not one struggles. Together, they create something far greater than themselves. A mountain of patience. A monument of balance. A resting place for silence itself. You arrive once more at the Grand Gallery. Its soaring corbelled walls rise gracefully into darkness above. The geometry has not changed. Neither has the feeling it creates. The immense space remains both grand and gentle. Its proportions invite the eyes upward while the heart settles deeper into quietness. You pause. There is no reason to rush beyond this place. The ancient builders understood something that modern life often forgets. The slow path is sometimes the truest one. Every carefully measured stone speaks the same gentle language. Not faster, not louder, simply steadier. You continue onward. The descending passage carries you gradually toward the outer world. Ahead, somewhere beyond thick limestone walls, The desert continues sleeping beneath the stars. The first suggestion of cooler air becomes almost impossible to notice, not because it changes suddenly, but because every transition inside the pyramid happens with remarkable kindness. Nothing surprises, nothing startles. Everything unfolds at the pace of breathing, at the pace of drifting, at the pace of sleep itself. Eventually, the opening appears, a quiet frame of darkness, leading toward a greater darkness, filled with stars. You step outside. The night welcomes you exactly as it welcomed travelers thousands of years ago. The desert has become even quieter. These are the deepest hours before dawn. The hours when the earth itself seems to breathe more slowly. The coolness has settled completely across the plateau. The limestone blocks have released. The last warmth gathered beneath yesterday's sun. Now they rest beneath silver starlight, calm and patient, their pale surfaces reflecting the heavens with gentle certainty. The Great Pyramid stands exactly where it has always stood. Its edges remain sharp against the endless sky. Its immense sides appear softer beneath the stars than beneath daylight. Moonlight and starlight smooth every angle until the monument resembles less a structure built by hands and more a peaceful mountain rising naturally from the earth itself. The breeze returns softly, very softly. It carries only the scent of cool stone and dry sand. Nothing else. No rain, no forests, no distant cities, only the timeless fragrance of the desert. It passes gently across the plateau before continuing toward the horizon. You breathe with it, slowly in, slowly out. The breeze never hurries, neither do you. The stars remain astonishingly clear. Countless points of silver light rest upon the velvet darkness above. The circumpolar stars continue their endless circles around the northern sky, just as they did when the first foundation stones were carefully measured. They turned while the limestone blocks were lifted. They turned while the granite beams journeyed north from Aswan. They turned while kings ruled. They turned while kingdoms vanished. They continue turning now, patiently, faithfully, without asking whether anyone watches. The pyramid remains equally faithful. Stone answering sky, sky answering stone. The quiet conversation has continued for more than 4,000 years. No words have ever been needed. The plateau itself feels almost untouched by time. The same bedrock supports the monument. The same horizon embraces the desert. The same stars drift overhead. Human lives pass like gentle breezes across this landscape. Brief, beautiful, temporary, yet the pyramid remains without, resisting those passing centuries. It does not attempt to stop time. It simply allows time to flow around it. There is wisdom in that. The ancient stone does not carry worry. It does not remember yesterday with regret. It does not anticipate tomorrow with fear. It rests entirely within this moment. One quiet moment, endlessly renewed. You settle once more into the cool sand. The grains welcomed your weight exactly as they did before. Your body sinks gently into the earth. Your shoulders soften. Your back relaxes. Your arms grow pleasantly heavy. Very heavy. Comfortably heavy. Like limestone resting upon limestone. Like granite resting deep within the heart of the pyramid. Like bedrock supporting 13 perfect acres without effort. Your legs settle naturally. The muscles no longer ask to move. The joints no longer ask to stretch. Everything simply rests. Gravity becomes a friend. The earth receives every ounce of weight with quiet generosity. Nothing is held up by effort anymore. Everything is supported. Everything is safe. Everything belongs. The silence grows deeper still. You notice how extraordinary true desert silence really is. There is almost nothing to interrupt it. Only the occasional whisper of wind. Only your gentle breathing. Only the distant, almost unimaginable movement of the heavens themselves. The silence is so complete that it seems to become part of your own body. Your heartbeat slows to meet it. Your breathing slows to match it. Your thoughts begin disappearing into it, one by one. Not lost, simply resting. The cooling limestone reflects the faint silver light with remarkable gentleness. Every block appears softened. Every edge appears calm. The monument no longer seems impossibly large. It simply seems peaceful, massive, still, certain. Its weight no longer feels overwhelming. Its weight feels protective, like a great hand resting lightly upon the earth, like an ancient promise that some things endure beyond every passing season. You realize that the boundary between yourself and this landscape has become wonderfully difficult to find. Your breathing resembles the breeze. Your stillness resembles the stone. Your patience resembles the stars. The final stars still linger above the western horizon, watching quietly as the Great Pyramid remains behind you, resting beneath the same endless sky that has sheltered it for more than 4,000 years. Its immense silhouette gradually softens into the distance, not disappearing, but becoming part of the greater landscape of memory. It has shared its silence. It has shared its patience. It has shared its timeless stillness. Now, without hurry, without urgency, the journey continues. The night has reached its deepest hour. The air has grown cooler than at any other moment before dawn. The warmth of yesterday has completely left the stone, leaving behind only calm. Every breath carries the dry fragrance of the Nile Valley before sunrise. Every movement unfolds so gently that even the sand seems unwilling to disturb the silence. Far to the south, beyond the familiar horizon of Giza, another sacred landscape waits beneath the stars. The temples of Karnak, the temples of Luxor. Not monuments built to challenge the sky, but vast sanctuaries designed to welcome it. Places where stone became forest, where columns became reeds, where architecture quietly imitated the gentle rhythm of nature itself. The journey feels almost dreamlike now. No footsteps need to be imagined. No roads need to be crossed. The mind simply drifts, as softly as moonlight drifting across the Nile, carried by the same timeless current that once bore the granite, beams from Aswan. The river continues, flowing beneath the stars, silent and faithful, guiding your thoughts farther into the heart of ancient Egypt. Gradually, the immense walls of Karnak begin to emerge from the darkness. At first, they resemble distant cliffs, then quiet mountains. Only slowly do they reveal themselves as the careful work of countless patient hands. The sandstone has cooled beneath the long embrace of the night. Its golden color has become silver beneath the moon. Its enormous surfaces seem almost to breathe with the changing shadows. Nothing moves. Nothing needs to move. The temple has already completed its purpose. It simply remains. You pass gently through one of the towering gateways. The massive pylons rise above you like silent horizons carved from living stone. Their ancient reliefs sleep. Beneath the pale, moonlight, kings, gods, sacred processions, all resting now in complete stillness. The carvings no longer speak through ceremony. Tonight, they speak only through silence. Inside the great enclosure, the world becomes quieter still. The desert remains outside. The distant river remains outside. Even the stars seem to lower their voices here. The courtyards rest beneath open sky, vast and empty. Their stone floors cool beneath the gentle breath of night. Long shadows stretch across the ground. The colossal statues of pharaohs stand without movement, exactly where they have stood through centuries beyond counting. Their expressions have not changed. Their watch has never ended. They ask for nothing. They simply witness. They witness moonrise after moonrise, season after season, empire after empire, the slow turning of the heavens, the quiet passing of humanity. You pause beside one of these immense figures. Its feet alone are larger than many people. Its folded hands remain perfectly still. The sandstone surface has grown, smooth beneath thousands of years of wind, carrying tiny grains of desert sand. Every edge has softened. Every line has become gentler. Time itself has become another patient sculptor. Nothing here resists it. Nothing fears it. The statues simply allow time to pass. There is deep peace in such acceptance. The breeze arrives quietly through the stone gateways. It carries only the faintest fragrance, a whisper of myrrh, a distant memory of sacred oil. Long ago, these courtyards glowed with gentle lamps, whose flames danced softly through ceremonies held beneath the evening sky. The lamps have long since vanished, yet somehow their memory lingers. A subtle sweetness remains within the imagination, not strong, not demanding, only enough to suggest warmth, only enough to suggest welcome. The final traces of sacred incense drift gently through the sleeping temple, becoming softer and softer until even memory itself begins to rest. Ahead rises the great, hypostyle hall. It appears almost impossible beneath the moonlight, not because of mystery alone, but because of scale. Hundreds of colossal columns stand together like an ancient forest turned to stone. Each one rises toward the heavens with astonishing confidence. Their capitals blossom high above, like open papyrus flowers greeting the first invisible promise of dawn. Others remain closed, like lotus buds, still resting in peaceful sleep. The builders transformed the marsh, plants that once lined the Nile, into everlasting architecture. Stone remembering water. Stone remembering reeds. Stone remembering life. You step quietly between the towering columns. Immediately, the outside world begins to dissolve. The open sky narrows overhead. Moonlight enters only in long silver ribbons, slipping gracefully between the towering shafts before resting upon the cool sandstone floor. The shadows deepen. The silence deepens. The sense of shelter deepens. Each column feels alive with quiet strength. Some rise more than 60 feet into the darkness above. Their immense surfaces are covered with carved hieroglyphs that continue, wrapping gently around the stone-like vines embracing ancient trees. Every symbol remains patient. Every carving remains still. Thousands of years have passed across their surfaces, yet the columns never grow weary. They simply continue holding the roof of heaven within this sacred place. You move more slowly now. There is nowhere to hurry. Each column invites another quiet pause. Each shadow welcomes another gentle breath. The night wind slips softly through distant openings. It sighs almost too quietly to hear. The sound resembles breathing, long, slow, gentle, in, out, in, out. Without realizing it, your own breathing begins to follow the same rhythm. The stone gateways breathe. You breathe. The temple breathes. Everything belongs to the same peaceful cadence. The immense sandstone walls continue cooling beneath the stars. During the heat of the day, they absorbed the warmth of the Egyptian sun. Now they slowly release that warmth into the quiet air. The process is almost impossible to notice. So gradual, so gentle, so patient. The temple teaches, once again, that the greatest changes often happen too slowly to observe. Night becomes morning, one quiet breath at a time. Stone becomes cool, one silent hour at a time. Sleep arrives, one peaceful thought at a time. You lift your eyes toward the capitals of the columns. High above, silver moonlight touches only their upper edges. The lower portions disappear into soft shadow. It becomes difficult to tell where architecture ends and the night itself begins. The pillars resemble giant papyrus stalks reaching endlessly upward, as though the Nile marshes had dreamed themselves into eternity. Yet despite their extraordinary height, they do not inspire uncertainty. They inspire security. Their immense weight feels reassuring. Their stillness feels protective. You imagine leaning gently against one of them. The sandstone feels cool, smooth in places, textured in others, ancient, steady, unchanging. The column does not resist your presence. It simply shares its quiet strength. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the boundary between yourself and the temple begins to soften. Your feet feel rooted like the stone beneath them. Your legs become steady like the towering columns. Your back rests with the confidence of walls that have carried countless centuries without complaint. Your shoulders release every remaining tension. Your arms grow wonderfully heavy, pleasantly heavy, safely heavy as carved sandstone resting upon perfectly balanced foundations.